Hey, it's Ryan and Shannon. Today we wanted to talk about eggs and the toll that it takes on the world, on your body, and on these girls back here. Recently, we have lost at least two in the very recent past of our chickens that we rescue, both of which have succumbed to reproductive issues, basically from being bred to be layer hens.
Humans demand for eggs.
And what we wanted to do was talk to you about reasons that you will not want to eat eggs anymore if you do right now, and if you don't, why you will continue to swear them off forever. And you know, if these girls aren't reason enough, there's a lot more. There's a lot more reasons. We've done a little bit of research, watched some videos, and read a few things in preparation for this. But what we wanted to do was just lay out the facts. No opinions, other than our own thoughts and feelings on it. But most of what we're saying is fact.
Vegetarians often think that they're doing right by the world or by animals by cutting out their flesh. But in reality, that's only half the battle. There's as much, if not more, cruelty in dairy and eggs than there is in the meat industry.
I think the flesh is like one of those things that it's like the obvious. It's
right.
The body. I mean,
Right.
it's not, it's not a byproduct. So
Right.
you're literally eating that animal, and I think that's where the first connection usually comes from.
With eggs and dairy, the animals suffer far longer than they do in the meat industry. Their bodies are viewed as machines.
Yeah, they're there to produce a product, period. Yeah, and that's basically almost the exact definition of what a machine is. And once they stop producing that product, they are no longer useful, and which is why we end up rescuing these girls, because they are useless to someone who wants eggs. The machine has now served its purpose, and we make sure they don't get killed for it.
Yeah, it's really sad. We've got 13. We've lost 4 in the last year. So we've rescued a total of 17 girls that would have otherwise been killed long ago. Just because in the industry that they come from, they aren't worth as much. If there's no output, they can't afford the input.
Right.
So if they're not going to feed an animal that is no longer giving them something.
Right.
However, that's a problem in itself, because the eggs aren't ours, they're the chickens.
Right.
And in nature, in the wild, chickens would have only laid 13, 15, 18 eggs, like one clutch in the spring. And that's it for the year. But whoever the idiot was that decided, let's put these in our mouths.
I don't even know how.
They've been bred to lay as many as possible, and now they lay upwards of 250 to 300 eggs a year. And the toll that takes on their bodies is massive.
Enormous, yeah.
They suffer from many reproductive ailments. They get impacted, they get reproductive cancers, and most of them die by the age of 4, when they could live 8 to 10 years normally. So, yeah, that's
the egg industry in a nutshell.
Well, that's just that's
a very high level
just
nutshell.
The tip of the iceberg.
Right.
And for those of you that don't know, male chicks in the industry are ground up alive through a big masticator.
Do they end up in the pink slime?
I'm not sure. I think it's like cheap pet food and stuff. I'm not 100% certain what they do with the ground up bodies of male chicks, but because they aren't going to lay eggs, they're of no use, and so they're killed on the day that they're born.
They're mass gassed or
Yeah, or
Just ground up,
suffocated.
yeah.
A lot of times they're just tossed in a big garbage bag and suffocated.
Some of them die, some of them don't, and then they get ground up.
We've lost 2 in the last 3 weeks
Yeah.
because of these reproductive issues. They both had impactions and masses on the x-ray, pushing their organs and stuff forward in their bodies. It was not pretty. And
Yeah, one of them was unexpected almost, where she was just not feeling well, and the next thing you know, we had to put her down. And the other one was declining over a period of time, and she was one of our first rescues, so
she was in bad shape
it
when
was
we got
really,
her.
really hard to see her decline like that. And yeah, she was. I mean, all 4 of them were in pretty bad conditions, and
The problem is that they hide it so well.
yeah,
And it's because they're prey for a lot of other animals, and so they kind of naturally hide it to avoid being prey.
they're good at it too.
So they can hide it for a long, long time.
They'll seem fine one day and be on death's door the next, like literally.
That's what happened to Royal. She was being treated for an upper respiratory infection, and just wasn't getting better, wasn't really getting worse. And then, a week went by of no better, no worse, and then the next day she couldn't even stand, and that was the day we had her euthanized. So it was a surprise.
Yeah, and we've got 2 boys that take a very very active role in raising the chickens, and they were hit pretty hard by that one. We're they're part of the family. I mean, they're part of our everyday lives, and it's really hard to see one of them suffer, for one, and 2, to see them gone. Like, that's. But they're doing. I mean, the boys are doing well, helping and taking care of it, but they also know why it's happening, and
Right.
that's part of the education that we're giving them. Is this is why, guys? This is it. This isn't.
This is why we don't eat eggs.
Right. This isn't some sort of a trend or anything like that. This is it. We're protecting these girls for a reason.
We don't think that we're better than people because we're vegan. We're vegan because we don't feel like we're more important than anyone else or
Right.
any other being on this planet. We all are here for a purpose, and
We all have a
we
right
all
to
have
live.
a role to play in
And-
ecosystem.
If the chickens were naturally born onto this earth, then we wouldn't have the issues we have. Then they would just live their lives. They would get eaten by a predator if necessary, or if they survive, then survival of the fittest. That's nature. But what we're doing is not natural. You can't. Even if you think eggs are healthy, even if you think that the chickens aren't treated that badly, or they're this free range, or whatever the hell you want to call it, what we do to produce the number of eggs that we consume in this country on a daily basis could not happen in nature. Couldn't happen. We caused it. We made it happen by doing what we did. Not only are we breeding millions more chickens than would naturally live on this planet, but we're causing them to produce more freaking eggs than they would naturally do. So that's literally billions of extra eggs on a yearly basis than would normally be on the planet. And
suck through it.
that, to me, tells me that is not a natural thing for anybody to be eating.
Right. They aren't
Ever.
bred for longevity. They aren't bred for any other reason other than to lay eggs, lay the most you can.
Right.
And we don't care if you get sick. We care about how many eggs you can lay.
Yeah. So, just think about it. think about what we've done and how we've created a food system that causes the mass destruction, the abuse, and the ill health of our country. To me, it doesn't take a genius, but just think about it for a second.
And we'd like you to ask yourself why your breakfast is more important than the life of an animal.
Right.
That's great that you aren't eating meat, but if you're still eating dairy and eggs, you're still responsible for the suffering and death of animals.
Baby animals.
So remove all the cruelty from your life.
Today.
Yep. Stop being part of the problem and try to be part of the solution. On the health side of it, Ryan, why don't people want to eat eggs? Tell them why they don't want to.
High level, heart disease, prostate cancer. Those are the two big ones. I mean, shoot, there's a number of other things that you can have issues with. But I mean, when I ate a lot of eggs, which I did, I used to eat a ton. I didn't have a lot of bowel movements. And you know, that in and of itself is like a symptom or a sign that you're going to have colon issues. And you know, any animal products are going to cause colon issues as well. So you want colon cancer, you want prostate cancer, you want heart disease, then eat a bunch of eggs because they have almost the entire daily value of cholesterol in one egg.
Right.
One egg, almost the entire thing. What was it? 200 and
Well, if for normal
215
cholesterol
milligrams,
levels,
yeah.
they say you shouldn't exceed 300 milligrams of cholesterol
dietary,
yeah,
a day.
a day. If you've got high cholesterol, though, you shouldn't go over 200 milligrams of cholesterol.
So you can eat like 3/4 of an egg, and then you're done. The rest of it's
Right.
gotta be
Do you know
plants.
anybody who eats one egg a day and
Well,
no other
right.
animal products?
Right.
One egg at a time.
Nope,
Yeah.
eggs
I'll
come
have-
with bacon
I'll have,
and
I'll have
cheese.
scrambled eggs, please.
Yeah.
Not eggs, egg. I'll have a
One-
scrambled egg.
One single egg, yeah.
Nobody does that.
No, nobody. Nope. Not even when, not even when you're
So if you want
eating
some heart
plant-based. Like some people eat plant-based, but
maybe.
still animal products. You're still not only going to eat one freaking egg,
Right.
and that's it. Like that's not. No, you either cut them out or you suffer the consequences. Period. The choline in
So
eggs.
cholesterol, that's a big one.
Yeah,
Choline.
the choline
yeah.
in eggs is considered to be one of the healthiest parts of the egg, apparently. But really, according to some studies, and I didn't write down the exact studies, but
We'll link Dr. Greger's
Yeah, we can
information
put the
below. The
stuff in there.
links to all the videos and articles we read.
Right. But if you got prostate cancer and you eat 2.5 eggs per week, you're at 81 increased risk of dying from prostate cancer.
81%.
81%. Like, if you've got it, you're gonna die if you keep eating eggs. I think some of the most eye-opening stuff that we researched today was what's legal and illegal to advertise. Like,
Yeah, if you want to use funding,
from
governmental funding for marketing, there are so many words you can't use in relation to eggs. What are some of them?
healthy, healthful, safe,
Right.
nutritious,
Nope, it's illegal to say eggs are safe. It's illegal to say they're
healthy.
healthy.
Can't say they're
nutritious.
safe. You can't say that. You can't even say that it's part of a well-balanced diet. I think was one of them that they said.
And it was because they're so high in fat and
Right.
they're so high in cholesterol.
Yeah, I mean, because even the USDA knows that nobody eats just one damn egg. It's, and the USDA, say what you will about them, but even they're smart enough to admit that. I mean, that's just, it's crazy. It's
Eggs
crazy.
are not a health food. If you are eating them and thinking that you're healthy or that eating eggs are healthy, I'm sorry, but you're mistaken. You need to do a little bit more reading.
Yeah, and there's plenty of cherry-picked articles and studies out there that dietary cholesterol doesn't contribute
Right, from
to
the low carbers. You got to look at the
Right.
science.
Yeah.
You have to look at the actual science, not the industry-funded science either.
Well, I mean, I'm not ashamed to admit that I started out as a full-fledged paleo fanatic. I bought into the hype, and I ate lots and lots of free range, cage free, whatever the hell you want to call it, eggs on a daily basis. And that was the last thing that I let go of, because I thought we needed them. I believed it, but the more you think about it, like I said, how natural it is to even consume that many eggs, how it makes you feel, your ability to pass your food. I mean, all those different things, they contributed to me opening my eyes to it. And, you know, I let go. I didn't think it was necessary. So even if you believe that you need them, you can let go too. Because there's an overwhelming abundance of evidence that you do not need them, that they're extremely cruel, and they're horrible for the environment. And it's completely unnecessary. You know, you look at their eyes and, you know, you just kind of see this big open eyeball that looks like it's not thinking, or, you know, like it's like in a cartoon bird kind of. Yeah, the one I think of is Up. You know, that Kevin, that big bird, it just like looks like it's just kind of dumb, you know. Birds can have that look, but when you live with them and see how they act and interact with each other and with people, they are acutely aware of their surroundings, and they're always aware of what's going on, and they react, and they have different personalities, and they know how to find food. And I mean, I was just watching one of them today grab these little tiny things, and I don't even know what the hell they were, but they had this littlest seed in them, and just grab the little seed, crack it open with just a beak, because they have no hands, and get the seed out of there and leave the rest behind, like in a split second. It was really cool to watch. So I mean, yeah, there's definitely personality differences.
Definitely.
And they're smart.
Likes and dislikes, as far as fruit and treats go. Some like greens, some prefer fruit. It's just, it's amazing, and they're amazing to me, with all their vocal sounds and the way they communicate to each other.
And us.
Yeah, yeah. It was funny because we've got one in the house right now in quarantine, and we came downstairs yesterday morning, I think it was, and we were kind of chit-chatting, and then just to each other, and she hadn't made any noise, and then I said something, blah blah blah, right, Jane? And like I'm sorry, I don't speak chicken. Nathan doesn't much better, but you know, she vocalized back to me. I'm like, how does she know I'm talking to her?
She heard her name, so they recognize their names.
It was so cool.
Yeah, and when sometimes, like she said, Nathan does a really good chicken sound, and he does that, and she'll respond back like twice as loud, and they'll just go back and forth like that. And so they know when they're being communicated with, even if you're just kind of, you know, making their sounds, that they get it. They get it. It's really funny. And again, Jane being in the house, we come down in the morning, and you know, she's not making a lot of noise, but then the next thing you know, you come down the stairs and there she is, you know. Or if you take a really long time to come down, she'll start squawking even louder to get your attention. Right. Like, come on down, I want out.
That's so funny. They also, they sense fear, and they run from predators. I mean, they definitely feel pain. We recently had a aerial predator attack. I'm still not sure what it was. I didn't get a good look at it. I was literally walking through the house from the front yard to the backyard when it happened, and one of them got attacked. Luckily, she survived. And she's missing some feathers, and she was really shaken up. She's one of our more skittish ones, but I was able to scoop her right up, and get her back to the coop.
Once you found her, she went hiding for like 15 minutes.
They all hid. They all stopped talking. It was really creepy. But once I got her back to the coop, she was just really weirded out that night when we put them to bed. She was looking up at the roof. She didn't want to come out of the coop the next day. They were all really freaked out. on high alert
Yeah.
for several days after that. It was pretty traumatizing for all of us.
So if you have any questions about rescuing chickens, about egg consumption,
Substituting for eggs,
yeah, options, let us know.
tofu, applesauce, banana, flax, chia.
Yeah, there's
I
a
mean,
million different things. You
yeah.
can just look it up on the internet. I mean, there's a ridiculous
or
amount of
comment below,
information.
ask us below. We'll
Yeah.
be more than happy to help answer. And yeah, I mean, I can think of 4 really good reasons to not eat eggs, and that's Fuji, Blue, Granny, and Royal.
Rest in peace.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.